The Eshel Council convened beneath the soft glow of the Grand Luminare, their vast orbital station a beacon of wisdom and peace in an otherwise cold and indifferent galaxy. Hundreds of light years from their tranquil homeworld, this station had served as the diplomatic heart of Eshel's civilization for millennia, a place where treaties were forged and conflicts were extinguished before they could ignite. Today, however, something far more peculiar was on the agenda, something that defied the norms of Eshel diplomacy.
The humans.
Ambassador Kellen intoned softly, his voice a mere whisper among the council.
Have arrived.
Curiosity murmured through the chamber, the Eshel's translucent skin glowing faintly with the shimmer of bioluminescence, a sign of heightened interest. Reports of this new species had trickled in from distant star systems, where scouts and explorers spoke of creatures both clever and volatile. Their language was fluid, their technology advanced yet crude, their behavior, well, unpredictable.
We invited them here to initiate peaceful dialogue,
said Oronthea, the High Chancellor, her gentle demeanor hiding a well of ancient knowledge.
It is our duty to guide the less enlightened toward a more harmonious existence.
But there was an unease that swept through the council like a cold breeze. They had all seen the reports, images of humans fighting amongst themselves, waging wars over trivial matters, expanding their reach with a tenacity that was almost feral.
They're orcs,
someone whispered.
Space orcs.
The term, derived from Old Eshel mythology, referred to savage creatures driven by brute force and chaos. It was an unsettling comparison. As the humans docked at the Grand Luminare, their sleek, functional starship contrasting sharply with the flowing, organic architecture of Eshel design, Kellen greeted them personally. The human delegation was small, a handful of diplomats in crisp uniforms, faces eager and bright.
Welcome,
Kellen said with a practiced smile.
We are honored by your presence.
The lead human, a woman named Captain Reyes, offered a handshake, a peculiar and somewhat invasive gesture that Kellen hesitantly reciprocated.
Thank you for having us,
she replied warmly, her eyes betraying none of the ferocity the Eshel feared. The exchange was cordial, even enlightening. Humans were curious creatures, asking endless questions about Eshel society, technology, and philosophy. They seemed genuinely eager to learn, and for a moment, Kellen wondered if the council had misjudged them. But then, on the fifth day, everything changed. It began with an innocuous question from one of the human engineers.
How do you defend your stations?
He asked, as they toured the inner workings of the Grand Luminare. Kellen hesitated, unsure of how to respond.
We have no need for defense,
he explained.
Our philosophy is one of peace. We resolve conflicts through diplomacy, not violence.
The engineer nodded thoughtfully, but Kellen saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Something unsettling.
Fascinating,
the human muttered.
But if diplomacy fails?
Kellen faltered.
It rarely does.
The human simply smiled.
Rarely isn't never.
That night, the Eshel uncovered encrypted transmissions from the human ship. They were scouting, mapping, calculating. The humans weren't just here for diplomacy. They were assessing potential weaknesses. Kellen confronted Captain Reyes the following day, his calm demeanor strained.
What are you planning?
He demanded. Reyes didn't deny it.
We don't plan to attack,
she said calmly.
But we've learned that you always need to be prepared. Peace is precious, but it's fragile. You can't just trust it to last. You need contingencies.
And your contingency is war.
Kellen's voice trembled with disbelief.
Not war,
Reyes corrected.
Survival. In the end, every species has to fight to survive one way or another. We just make sure we're ready for whatever comes.
The words hung in the air, heavy and ominous. Kellen realized, with a sinking feeling, that humans didn't see themselves as warmongers. They saw themselves as survivors, adaptable, relentless survivors in an unforgiving universe. That night, the council convened in secret, their bioluminescent glows dimmed in quiet contemplation. The Eshel had never faced a species like this, so full of contradictions. Humans were capable of incredible kindness and brutal pragmatism. They were builders and destroyers, diplomats and warriors, all wrapped into one.
They are orcs,
one counselor murmured again.
But they are also something more.
Oronthea, the High Chancellor, spoke last.
We have a choice to make. We can guide them as we've guided others, or we can turn them away. But either way, we must recognize that humanity's strength lies not in their ability to conquer, but in their ability to endure.
And so, the Eshel made their decision. They would not reject humanity, nor would they blindly trust them. Instead, they would walk a delicate line, allying with them where they could, but always keeping one eye open, wary of the orcs they had welcomed into their sanctuary.